Welcome to Channel World Story 22, a channel that always presents news about the history of countries in the world. On this occasion, Channel World Story 22 will discuss how the ancient Egyptians made mummies. So Egypt is known as an ancient civilization that was so great that it could make a mummy that was thousands of years old. Maybe many don't know how the process of making a mummy by the ancient Egyptians at the time of the pharaonic kingdom. So this time, Channel World Story 22 will discuss how to make a mummy. But before continuing to the discussion, I ask for your support by liking, commenting, subscribing and sharing, so that this channel can develop. The tradition of mummification was carried out by the ancient Egyptians. In ancient times, the people of ancient Egypt adhered to the belief in their ancestors, namely by worshipping gods. In contrast to now, the majority of Egyptian society is Muslim. Thus, the process of burying people who have died uses Islamic law. What is a mummy? Linguistically, mummy or mummy comes from medieval Latin, namely, mumia. This word is a loan from the Arabic language mumiya and from the Persian word, mum, which means an embalmed corpse. Mummies themselves are divided into two types, namely anthropogenic or spontaneous natural mummies. Anthropogenic mummies are made by living things, both for general and religious purposes. Meanwhile, the spontaneous type of mummy occurs spontaneously or accidentally due to very hot or cold, dry, or anaerobic conditions. Apparently, not only humans were mummified. For religious reasons, some animals were also mummified, such as sacred bulls, baboons, cats, birds and crocodiles. Purpose of mummification. Then, why in the past did corpses have to be preserved and mummified? The purpose of ancient people in making mummies was to bridge the spirits or souls of people who died to the afterlife. So, they have the belief that life after death can only be obtained if the shape of the corpse or body of the person who died is still intact and recognizable. So, in order to remain recognizable and reach life after death, one method that can be used is to do preservation or embalming. That's why the ancient Egyptians made mummies. However, the cost of making a mummy is not small, friends. Only wealthy people could perform mummification, such as nobles and royal officials. What is mummification? Mummification is the process of embalming or treating corpses carried out by the ancient Egyptians. Well, the principle of embalming is to remove all moisture from the body. So, what is left of the body is the dry part. Meanwhile, wet parts such as organs must be separated, discarded, or treated so they can last longer. History of mummification and traditions of ancient Egypt. History begins from the reign of Osiris, who became the great pharaoh of Egypt. Together with his wife, Isis, a woman with magical powers, they both helped the country become peaceful and wealthy. Osiris had a brother who was very jealous of him, named Seth. Seeing Osiris's success, Seth wanted to become pharaoh and devised a plan to trick and kill Osiris, so that he could finally take over Egypt. Seth did dirty tricks to trick Osiris, one of which was the challenge of trying a chest. As it turned out, Osiris was the most suitable to enter the chest. When Osiris was in the chest, Seth immediately slammed the lid and put it on. Then, the chest was washed into the Nile. Osiris's wife Isis loved her husband very much. He made a search everywhere to find Osiris. When Seth learned that Isis was looking for Osiris, he quickly searched for the chest. After Seth found him, he immediately opened and cut Osiris's body into many parts, which were then distributed to the four corners of the earth. Isis worked hard to find all of Osiris's body parts. Well, when she found all the pieces, Isis immediately put Osiris's body back together and wrapped it in linen bandages. With her magical powers, Isis tried to revive Osiris. However, Osiris informed him that he could not live again and had to go to the afterlife. From this incident, Osiris became the first mummy to appear on this earth. Since then, the ancient Egyptians kept statues of Osiris and considered him a god in his honor. Stages of mummification. If we look at it, the mummification process only covers the body from head to toe using bandages. But the process is not that easy, friends. There is a long and complicated process behind it. Before the mummification process, the body must be washed first. Next, do the following steps. Insert the hook through the nostril and pull part of the brain out. The first step in mummification is to remove the internal organs. The brain is the first organ to be removed from the body. Retrieval is done through the nostrils, given a hook, and pull out part of the brain. If you think about it, it's really scary, friends. Oh yes, the party carrying out the mummification process was a priest wearing an Anubis mask. What is Anubis? So, Anubis is a wolf-headed god of death. As we know that the making of this mummy is very close to death. Make an incision on the left side of the body near the abdomen and remove all internal organs. This incision is made to extract the internal organs from the body. Next, remove internal organs such as lungs, intestines, stomach, liver, heart, etc. out. Don't leave any organs behind. This is done to prevent decay. Place the lungs, intestines, stomach and liver into the canopic jar. Place the internal organs into the canopic jar containing the natron. The natron contains baking soda and soda ash or sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, which is used to preserve these organs. A canopic jar is an urn that is placed in a canopic casket in a mummy's burial chamber. Each of the canopic jars has a different cover. Namely a picture of a person's head guarding the heart. Imsati, an eagle watching over the intestines, Kebesanuf, a baboon protecting the lungs, Happy, and a wolf protecting the stomach, Duamutef. Why do they have a different picture? Because the image on each canopic jar depicts the four sons of Horus, namely the ancient Egyptian sky god and protector of the pharaohs. Well, this Horus is usually depicted as a falcon or a man with an eagle's head. Put the heart back into the body. If other organs are left in the canopies, it is different from the heart, which will be put back into the mummified body after preservation. This is because the ancient Egyptians thought that the heart is the soul, where thoughts and feelings are. Thus, the heart will also still be needed in the afterlife. Rinse the insides with wine and herbs. After the body is emptied, natron will then be applied to make it dry. In addition, the body will also be smeared with resin, oil, wine and spices to keep it dry and also not smell bad. Cover the body with natron or salt for 70 days. Bury the body in a saline solution consisting of sodium bicarbonate, sodium carbonate, sodium sulfate, and sodium chloride to preserve it. So, there is also economic class discrimination, you know, guys. For nobles, their bodies will be buried in a natural salt solution that is in the territory of Egypt, in Wadi Natron to be precise. Meanwhile, commoners will be given ordinary salt. Well, this burial was carried out for 70 days. After 40 days, fill the body with linen or sand so that it has the shape of a living person. Approaching the 70th day, exactly at the 40th day of burial, fill the body with linen or sand. This is done to shape the body like a human, so that you don't get sprawled like that. Still looks full. When finished, close the incision again by means of stitches. Then, continue the burial process again for up to 70 days. After 70 days, wrap or cover the whole body from head to toe. After 70 days, do a second bath on the body before finally wrapping the bandages. Pour resin all over the body to make the cloth stick to the mummy. After bathing and pouring in resin, cover the entire body from head to toe with linen cloth that has been cut into strips. Place the body that has been wrapped in bandages into the sarcophagus. After all the processes have gone well, finally place the body that has been wrapped in linen cloth into a coffin or sarcophagus. These coffins were various shapes and elaborately decorated too, especially for royalty. If you see, the sarcophagi belonging to the kings of ancient Egypt must be very luxurious, right? In addition to its large size and attractive design, treasure is also placed inside the chest to ensure that the spirit's journey to the afterlife goes smoothly without any flaws. The family usually includes property, food, wine, and also pets that are also preserved with their masters to accompany them to the afterlife. So great was the process of preserving the bodies carried out by the ancient Egyptians. Until now, we can see what the images of ancient people were like and what those people were like in their lives about 3,000 years ago.